It's not about how much you make, it's about how you manage what you make. That is one of the key lessons I learned during my 10 years as a finance. Whether you are earning 50,000 or 50,000, the strategies used by top 1% to grow and protect their wealth can be applied by anyone. And so in this video, I'm going to reveal the 15, 65, and 20 system, a simple proven approach that can help you manage your money like financial expert. Let's get into it. Starting with the most important part, which is 15%. That's how much of every dollar you make that should be reserved and put aside for yourself. This is where long-term security really begins, and you are doing this for two really important reasons. Peace of mind. Number one is peace of mind. Imagine you are going about your day when suddenly you get a flat tire, a surprise medical bill, or urgent family emergency happens. Without a solid emergency fund or a cash cushion in place, you are not just worried. You are not just worried about the surprise that has just come up. You are now also worried about how you are going to pay for it. And then this can quickly derail your finances and send you into a tailspin. But not if you have that 15% caution in place. Start by building a quick access solution fund, enough to cover 1 month of essential expenses. This is your first line of defense against life's little surprises. And 1 month worth of living expenses isn't as much as you think it might be. It doesn't include the Netflix subscription you have or any other discretionary spending that you make. It's just cover your core costs, things like your rent and mortgage, groceries, transportation, utility bills. Reason number two for keeping this 15% aside is to make your money work for you. You don't need to be financial expert to start doing this. And in fact, you might already be doing it without even realizing. First, let me show you why this is so powerful and how to get started even if you are completely beginner. Picture two people, Janet and Mike, at age of 30. Janet invests a lump sum of 10,000. She earned a steady 60% return each year and doesn't touch at the investment for 20 years. By the time she turns 50, the initial 10,000 has grown to an impressive 32,071 without her adding a simple extra dollar. Now let's look at Mike. Waits until he's 40 to start investing. He contributes 2,000 every year for the next 10 years and is also, it contributes 20,000 every year, two times as Janet invested. So 20,000 every year for the next 10 years, and it's also earning the same 60% annual return. By the time she turns 50, his 20,000 investment has grown to 27,944. That's not bad, but it's still less than Janet. Even though Mike invested twice as much as overall, the difference comes down to the power of times and compound interest. Janet's money has an extra 10 years to grow and compound, and that extra decade made all the difference for her initial of 10,000, snowballed into 32,000, even though her adding a single penny without adding a single penny. This is what Einstein meant when he called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. The longer you let your money work for you, the more dramatically it can multiply. It's like a runaway train with your returns earning even more returns. So where do you start? You have a few options. If you are contributing to your workplace retirement plan, then you have already started this process. The employer match is essential free money. Your organization will contribute an extra dollar or an extra pound for every dollar or pound you put in up to a certain limit. So for example, says you make 50,000 per year and there is 5% match. That means for every pound of dollars you contribute up to 2,500, your employer will also contribute the same. In the UK, you are automatically enrolled into this plan, but you also want to do a really important thing, and that is to make sure that you are contributing enough to max out the match that is offered. That is a really great way to supercharge your savings since your contributions are made pre-tax and the money grows tax-free until withdrawal. Number 2, let's talk about tax advantaged account in the UK. You have got stock and shares, ISA. In the US, it's Roth IRA. These accounts allow your investment to grow completely tax-free. That means no taxes on the dividend, no taxes on the capital gains. The government gives you this special account as an incentive to save and invest for the long run. But bear in mind that the money you use to invest, it has already been taxed because it comes from the money you earned from your paycheck. So that is after you pay taxes on it. So again, you pay tax at the start, not at the end. Whereas for the workplace determined plan we just mentioned earlier, you pay tax at the end and not at the start. The key is to max out all these tax advantaged accounts first before moving on to the regular taxable investment accounts. Now I know you might be thinking, okay, I know what account I need. Now what do I invest in? The secret is to keep it super simple with passive fund. This is essential, just a way to track the overall stock market. This fund automatically diversify your money across hundreds of different companies. So you are not putting all of your eggs in one basket, and they come with super raw fees, which means more of your money gets to work for you once you have got this tax advantage account set up and you are contributing regularly. You can let this passive fund do their thing. No need to constantly think or try to beat the market. Just set it and forget it. It's literally the lazy person path to wealth, and it's strategy used by the world's most successful investors. I got into a lot more details on this in my free masterclass, which had 3 more slots left for today and tomorrow. We cover the difference between the type of fund, the common mistake that can cost beginners thousands, and how to turn just 100 a month into over $1 million. Now let's talk about 65%, that the portion of every dollar that should go toward your fundamental expenses. This is where the basic lives, things like rental, mortgage, grocery, utilities, transportation, and any other must-have that keep life running smoothly. This is the trickiest part because these expenses have a sneaky way of blowing out of control. You know how it goes. You get a raise and suddenly that old apartment feels too small, or you decide to upgrade your car, and what seems like progress can actually backfire. When these upgrades come with higher rent and maintenance or insurance costs, your expenses will grow to match your income unless you fight them off. That is where setting a firm limit on your fundamental expenses make all differences. The 65% cap keeps your core expenses in check so that you aren't scrambling just to cover the basic. I'm not going to lie, this is in many cases harder said than done, especially if you are living in an expensive city. According to the Office for National Statistics, housing is the largest spending category, representing about 19% of total weekly expenditure. That includes things like rental, mortgage, interest payments, and utility bills. The second largest category is transportation, which makes approximately 15% of household spending. That includes things like vehicle purchases, maintenance, fuel, and public transport. Have a look of your own spending. Write down what your biggest spending category are. Once you know where your money is currently going, you can then look for a way to optimize the biggest cost. Can you negotiate a better deal on your rent? Can you swap that daily commute for more affordable option? It's not about cutting out the little joy in life. It's about finding ways to keep the big unavoidable cost under control. Giving your budget more breathing space for the fun things in life. That last 20% is where that fun begins. In the book Diver Zero, the author share a really powerful idea which I absolutely love. is that the ultimate goal isn't to die with a massive bank account, but to use your money to create a rich and fulfilling life. That 1% know the secret. They intentionally make room in their budget. They intentionally make room in their budget for guilty-free enjoyment, and so should you, because all work and no play is a surefire path to burnout. Studies show that people who give themselves a little flexibility in their budget are far more likely to stick to their financial goal over the long haul, and kind of like going on a strict diet. If you never allow yourself a cheat meal, eventually you're going to break and bingo. That same principle apply to money. Now you might be thinking, won't that delay my saving and investment? Not at all. In fact, probably the opposite. If you don't carve out a portion for guilty-free spending, you are much more likely to overspend down the road, or even worse, give up on your saving and investment entirely. That's why the 15-65-20 rule recommends using 20% of your income for fun, enjoyment, and personal fulfillment. In fact, you can even reframe this 20% as an investment in yourself by making sure you stay motivated, balanced, and energized. You are actually increasing the odds of sticking to your long-term financial plan. So in practice, this can mean treating yourself out to an exceptional nice dinner once in a month, or finally pulling that trigger on a new bake that you have been eyeing, or even planning to really fun getaway with friends. The key is to give yourself permission to enjoy 20% of your income without feeling of guilt or shame. So those are my top tips on managing your money, like 1%, the 15-65-20 rule. If you found this video useful, I would really appreciate it if you could take a second and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much, and see you on my another video. Bye.